Thank you very much, Krish, for joining us on Money Control. Krish Shankar, of course, is the EVP and Group Head for Human Resources at Infosys. Krish, has it been exactly a year since you kind of took all your employees to work remote since the lockdown was imposed? Where do things stand today compared to last year? And what is the future of workplace looking like for you?
Wow, exactly a year, 14th of March, I remember. I think that was a Monday last year when we said, okay, people should start working from home. And the real lockdown started the week after that, 22nd. So I remember just a week before we started. So I think it's been probably the most, what I would call revolutionary one year in terms of organizations and what our own assumptions were of work. So let me just take you through this, Chandra. I think you've heard this many times, but just to give you a quick overview, I think we've been through various stages of this thing. If you look
Yeah.
at the first what do you call 2 3 weeks, it was all about how do it was more like crisis. How do you make things work? How do you get people kind of enabled to work from home? How do you take care of their health and safety? How do you ensure that they're all safe? So those are the first things that were in our mind in the first, let's say, 3 4 weeks. Various things, because not only in India, we had people in the US and everything, and therefore there was issues about all of that. I think that was the first step. So our focus then was, let's keep the health and safety of our employees first.
Chris, for the last, say, I mean, 3, 4 quarters, it's hovered around, I think, 95%, 96% work from home. What's it going to be like in the coming quarters? Have you arrived at an optimal ratio that you're now comfortable with, that you're going to be comfortable with going forward?
No, see, currently, yeah, it's right in our company, roughly, I would say 97% are working from home, right? So that's what it is. Now, I think what are the factors that we are looking at? Number one, I think we're looking at the safety of people, health and safety of people.
Mm.
That's number one. Number two, it's client commitments, and therefore we also have to look at clients and what are their commitments. I think that's very important, and we look at what is needed there. Certain work can continue to be done remotely. Certain work needs something, so that's something we keep in mind. What we've also done is, we believe that, listen, there is an element of what you call coming together in the office really helps, especially if
Mm.
you're brainstorming, you're talking, innovation, you're coming together, thinking about the project. I think some amount of physical coming together helps, because it is that social capital that has managed to make us run this remotely over a year. So, it's those relationships, that trust that has been built in the team. I think that's very important. We
Mm.
think some amount of that is important as we go forward. But I think we'll have to take it as we go. So therefore, we believe the future will be hybrid. We are now looking at different flexible models of work.
So, in terms of how you will utilize your campuses, your training centers, because you have invested in this massive physical infrastructure. Have you thought about how you will go about utilizing that, and have you kind of paused on new expansions for now till you're able to work out this hybrid model, so to speak?
Yeah, I think there is. So there are various models we are trying, and these are all
Mm.
piloting, whether there is a need for a hoteling concept, or can offices be repurposed more for meetings and coming together, and much more like an agile workspace where people come and meet. So these are all the pilots that we're doing. We are also growing, so there's also growth that is there. I think I personally believe, and many feel that, listen, there will be a time where people would like to come together. It's not that we'll all be completely remote. I think there is a
Mm.
need, and the offices, the facilities, and the campus will play an important role as we go forward.
Right. Infosys also recently announced that it, will cover the vaccination cost for all its employees and their dependents. Something that was seen as a good move, and other IT companies have also announced this. Now, just help us understand: is this going to be another reimbursement item that you would give, perhaps like a conveyance, like a telephone bill, or are you actually going to tie up with hospitals, with the government, to ensure that employees, their dependents are vaccinated, because the government is still controlling distribution of vaccine to a certain extent. So, in terms of the impact that you can actually have, is this going to be a reimbursement item, or will you actually go ahead and take steps to ensure that vaccines are available, that your employees and the dependents actively get slots and get vaccinated? How are you going about this?
So I think these are again subject to various things that the government, thing. Our kind of idea would be to tie up with a health provider because we've got a lot of healthcare facilities in our campuses, and we'll tie up for them to come and do vaccination for our employees and their dependents.
When
That's
you
our
say health provider, you mean a hospital that can come and
hospital.
set up?
The hospitals over there with whom we have various relationships. So that's our ideal thing as we go forward because I think that's where we're thinking. But again, all these are subject to various kind of rules and various whatever other regulations at that time with the government. But that's what we are working on.
So if the government kind of gives more leeway for the private sector to carry out, because now the concern is that India is not vaccinating fast enough, that, we are not doing as much as we can. It's going at a very slow pace, hardly 5 lakh people a day, when we should be ramping this up. So if the government kind of allows the private sector a free hand, you will look at tying up with healthcare providers and doing some of this on campus, basically. Is that the way you're going to go about it?
That
Than,
is right
just
because I think we are going by the government now says it's about 60 and above and anybody with comorbidity. So I think once that comes down, maybe whenever it is opened up and whenever the government allows, then I think we'll be able to really work with the healthcare provider hospitals to really ensure vaccination of our employees.
And how has the response been so far? Have you seen employees, their dependents sign up for this at Infosys? Do you already have a database or your own Coven, internal Coven platform, so to speak, ready, so that you can do this at scale if and when it happens?
So we've done various things. I think we've developed our internal platform. We've also surveyed some people. So I think there is general positivity. I think, we all have to tie up and work in tandem with the government in this. So I think we're just waiting and see that, we're working together and ensuring that this is done in the right way.
Right. And Chris, it's also a very optimistic time for the IT industry in terms of growth, in terms of hiring. I think Infosys itself has said that, it will look to hire 24,000 freshers in the coming year, which is nearly double of what it did in the previous year. So how you're going about that? And also tell us about the war for talent, because that is a concern that many people are talking about. How you're going about this?
Well, I think there are two parts to this. There is, I think the industry is being, we can see signs of, demand, which is picking up in the industry.
Yeah.
But I think for us, it's all about, as I said, it's all about what is our whole value proposition to our own employees. And we've been working on it for some time. I think the key thing for us is really we want to keep our employees ready for the future. Yeah. So skilling them for the future has been our kind of the mantra that we've been talking. I think Salil talked about reskilling a couple of years ago as part of our thing. And we've been really working on many things to really build that.
You've spoken about what you're doing to retain employees and give them more opportunities, but in terms of hiring talent itself, because you no longer have to compete with, say, just a TCS or a Wipro or an Accenture. You also have to compete with the hyperscalers, an Amazon or a Google or a Salesforce that wants to hire in India. A lot of captives are now talking about ramping up their India hiring, be it a Deutsche Bank or the others. And you also have, these unicorns and startups that want to hire. In fact, they've been very active in these schools this year. So again, is it going to lead to a competition in terms of salaries? Do you see wage inflation going up, particularly for some niche skills? For example, it could be a solution architect or some such roles, or power programmers, as you said.
Yeah. No, I think, see, where there is a lot of skill and there is a shortage of the skill and the huge demand of skill, that skill will always have in India. So that's going to happen. I think you'll see in some parts, some skills where there is, unique skills where there is a kind of restricted demand and huge restricted supply and huge demand. You'll see that, okay, people will try and do various things there. So I think that's something that is there. Uh, and yes, I think this demand we'll see across all. I think, given that we've been, the way we got to work through it is ensure in a more holistic way. It's not just one thing or the other, but create a holistic path for people because our thing is really building them a career so they can grow.
You're
Yeah.
one of the companies that's part of Google's employer consortium in the US for their career certification program. I think you've committed to hire 500 people through this process. There are a couple of other IT companies as well. How long before you sign up in their employer consortium in India as well? Because Sundar Pichai said in the blog that they are working towards doing something similar in India as well. So is this an alternate hiring path for Infosys? If you can take us through your own thinking in this respect.
So I think this is evolving. I think even here there are 3 or 4 areas. For example, UX, analytics, Android. Those are 3 or 4 areas where there will be courses taught by Google on Coursera, and if people pass it, they'll get those certifications. So therefore, they just add to a little bit of what we call as the skill thing here, and I think that's something we'll be hiring. See, in the end, I think if these are skills that are needed and they are found right, we will be happy to explore that even in India. I think that's evolving, but let's try and we want to see how it goes in the US first.
But Krish, could this potentially upend and disrupt hiring as we know it in India? Because IT companies hiring in India for the longest time has been synonymous with people who have a BTech degree or a B degree or an MCA or some such thing. For a person to not have a degree, just get a certification from Google and then find a job at Infosys would potentially be a game changer. So could this really disrupt campus recruitment or even hiring freshers as we know it?
I would say it's early to say, Chandra. I think, given the scale that is there and given that some of these skills are, it depends on how the variety of learning that is there, because we need lots more skills and our scale is huge. And it's just that, this is open to people. Even somebody in the campus can also do that, and that will become an additional qualification. So let's see how it goes. I think while it has huge potential, and I think things like Coursera courses have been there for some time. Yeah, they've been
Yeah.
there. Google adds a little bit of their own thing, and it gives a little bit of a brand there. So let's see how it goes. But I think these are positive developments that we'll be open to look at.
Yeah, as your president, I think Ravi Kumar put it, you're hiring for skills and not hiring for degrees. So it's something that you will look at in India also when Google brings their program.
Yeah.
Any timeline that you're working towards, numbers that you're working towards, that X percentage will come through
No, it's too
certification
early.
program?
It's too early to say anything on that. I think it's too early to say. But I think these are all. See, the industry is evolving. This is an industry which is changing fast. Industry where the half-life of skills is changing. So I think every company will be looking at how we can really look at different ways to get new skills, to do that. So these are all the options that we look at as we go forward.
And will this finally bridge the industry academia gap that's been talked about for a really long time? NASSCOM has studies that say X percentage of graduates are not employable. Even CEOs have spoken about this in the past. So will this kind of finally address that problem for the IT industry?
I hope it does, because even now we hire people like from like say the campus hires. They go through our own training. Yeah, they go through 6 months of our own training, because while you get some basics there, you got to understand specifics, and therefore they still have to go through our own training and do that. So it depends on the kind of skills, how specific there are. So you got to there's layer after layer. So I think this will go a long way in helping, but I think it is the overall ecosystem that we got to look at. I don't think it's just that one thing, but we got to look at the overall ecosystem there.
On that note, thank you very much for joining us on Money Control and taking us through all the initiatives you've been doing to retain employees, motivate them. On that note, thank you very much, Krish.
Thank you, Chandra. Nice speaking to you. Thank you.